Hey guys, welcome back. So a couple of videos back, I made an introduction to Redshift and I kind of talked about the materials, but I wanted to show y'all a real life example from a project that I'm working on for a series that I'm working on. So you can see it right here. And this is gonna there's a lot going on in this project, I know, but for me, I like to, every time I do a project, I like to learn something new or at least build upon a skill. And this particular project was all about materials for me. So what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna kind of be sharing my knowledge that I gained from this, and especially, like I said, if you're coming from another render engine, the node editor in Redshift could be a little scary. So that's what we're going to be doing, is talking about materials in Redshift. Let's go ahead and open it up, and if I can find it down here, there we go. Cool. So we're not only going to talk about this material particularly. It looks a little crazy. It's not, guys. It's not. Anyone can figure this out. It looks a little crazy, but it's not. But we're going to talk about creating custom materials, because this material originally, this is my first time kind of making my own material, even though all I really am doing is overlaying a picture onto it. And that picture is actually this one right here. Cool. So yeah, we have this image, overlaid it onto the materials, and I kind of want to go over that process with you so you can start customizing your scenes and adding these small little details in that help tell the story that you're trying to tell with your images or videos or animations. So yeah, let's break it down, what we have going on here, because it looks a little crazy at first. And I'm just going to drag this off the side. So basically, if you understand Redshift node editor at all, you know that we have our basics down here, our roughness, our normal, and our displacement. Nothing crazy going on there. But when we go to our diffuse color, you see a lot of stuff is going on, and some of this stuff isn't necessarily correct. Like I'm plugging a roughness into a mix, which is a little crazy, but it still works. So yeah, there we go. Cool. So we have several nodes going on, and the first one I'm talking about is the RS color mix. And I always type in RS first, even though it's just color mix. Color mix. Where are you at? There we go. So this node right here, and you see we're using it 2 times. The first time is combining composite with this mix, but we'll break it down all the way to the end of the node tree so you can get the full effect. So we have our base material, which is right here, and I'll shift it. I have a hotkey for this. You can get your own too. You can look up how to make hotkeys in Cinema 4D. I might make a video on it if y'all want me to, but the information's already out there. So yeah, so we have this base texture, and let me just turn off this bucket render mode, because that's going to drive me crazy. And I'm just trying to make this visible so y'all can see both things. Cool. Yeah, okay, that'll work. So Shift A, this is our base material, just this grungy, grimy material. Nothing crazy going on there, but we Shift A to this is plugged into our color mix, and you can see we have these streaks and stuff across it, and that's just kind of adding grime. And what that is that's just this from Quixel, freaking awesome company that I absolutely love, and they dropped their prices, which is really cool because they got acquired. But it's this leakage right here, and you don't have to use Quixel, but they just have an albedo, so the overlay, and then the opacity. Cool. So what you do is you just go and you overlay that right here, albedo, opacity. So when you're using your mix node, you have your base layer, that's input 1, then input 2 is the albedo, and then the mix amount is just your opacity texture. Pretty straightforward. So you can kind of see that node right there. Let's go jump down under here to this composite node so y'all can see everything. So the first thing I want to point out is this roughness texture. Kind of see, I'm just throwing these things on to add variation to the material, because I feel like giving away CGI environment, one of the things is repeating tileable textures. You don't want that. So add much variation. Think about this building. We have our base layer at the very front, which was the metal, and then we put the leakages on, and now we're adding these roughness and different composites on top of that. So everything's building on top of it like it would in real life. So yeah, I'm actually ramping this roughness. This is another great node. And I'm just going to put these nodes up here for y'all to see, because I feel like once you get a hang of these 3 nodes, you can really start making and customizing your materials. So let's go ahead and, whoops, this node right here, this ramp node. If you come from another render engine, I mean, it's the same thing. You just ramp and squeeze stuff. You can see right here, really compress this texture down for the blend color to get that extreme contrast. And then our main texture, here we go. There we go, 0, 4, 9. And you notice when we do this right here, because of the way we mixed it, we added all that variation to it. So we can see like, okay, and it makes sense that it's kind of decayed and eroded because it's paint, it's on a layer, it's going to kind of chip off and stuff as time goes on. So that's kind of that whole thing. This texture could have just been put into the input right here, but instead of doing that, I wanted to add some variation to it before, and you could have very well have done this in Photoshop. Just real quick, I'll just show y'all, because I know it's annoying opening up other programs when you're inside of Cinema 4D, because it kind of kills the workflow. But guys, this is so simple to make. Photoshop's opening in the corner over here. There we go. Okay, create new. This is just for demonstration purposes. So literally, guys, all you need to do in Photoshop is punch like we'll do 0, 0, 4, 9. Cool. And then I just made it a yellow color. Not quite that. Pick a rando. That's a good color right there. And then just center it up, because you're going to be tiling this, and you're going to want to make this texture like 5,000 by 5,000 pixels, whatever it is. Make sure it's a 1:1 ratio, because that's how your textures usually are tiled on top of each other. So yeah, we have this, and what you could do if you want, you don't even have to do that whole node step. I like that because I can kind of change stuff and not have to reopen up Photoshop to do stuff, but you can just like rasterize the type, and then go ahead and delete this background. So you can see if you wanted this like it is, you do File, Export, and then export it as a PNG, because it'll keep the alpha channel and just overlay it on top of everything else. You could also rasterize the type, and oh yeah, we already did that. And then you can grab a brush, and then grab like a brush that has some variation to it. If you're a matte painter, you definitely have some of these laying around, and then just kind of make it bigger by punching the bracket keys. And in this case, we're painting on top. What we could do, and this is the best way to work in Photoshop, is to create a layer mask, and yeah, there we go. And I'd argue that this might even look a little bit more realistic. It's just that you have to go back into Photoshop if you want to change it. So yeah, and then you can camera project this, or just add it in like I did. And there you go. So you have that. So let's jump back out to the color mix, Shift A. Cool. So this is the combination of these nodes right here. You can kind of see we're combining the 049 with the overlay, and then we finally are going to our diffuse color and our overall look with everything together. So yeah, so some important nodes in Redshift that I want to talk about real quick is this Redshift ramp. I don't know why it went small on me like that. This Redshift ramp, and then this Redshift color composite. And I'm going to break them down real quick for y'all, just so y'all understand what they're doing. There we go. Cool. So our color composite is going to take 2 colors and screen overlay. You can define, if you used After Effects, you are familiar with all of these different blending modes. And then our color mix is basically doing the same thing. Instead of like overlaying though, we're saying, hey, mix with an image texture or noise. Noises are really fun because you can go procedural with that route. Again, this ramp will come in handy, especially if you're using noises, or even in this case I didn't even use a noise, I just used a roughness texture. And then I decided it needed to be clamped because of the way it was looking. So I clamped it down a little bit and got this result right here. And you can see it's telling a story, and that's the most important thing. We're backing up a story with this image. We have this old box probably containing something. I'll get into the details. Y'all see some stuff coming out soon. I'm excited. But yeah, with this box probably containing something. It looks old, it's scratched up, it's obviously seen, it's been through the paces. So yeah, and I really hope that I explained that correctly for y'all. Just remember these 3 nodes. If you're familiar with other programs like Photoshop or After Effects, or even Premiere, I think has these blending modes in them. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you want to take a quick look again at this node system, you can see it looks kind of crazy at first, like, oh my gosh, but yeah. And if we wanted to get more advanced, we could take the material blending node and blend multiple materials together. But I thought that this was kind of just good as is, so I didn't think that was necessary. I think that especially when you start blending materials together, it'll start hurting your render time. And once you get it good enough, you can to tell your story like, okay, yeah, we're happy with that, we can move on. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I hope that this clarifies some stuff in the node system, kind of the 3 necessary nodes that you need to know about for kind of creating variation in your materials, or right here. And I would include probably the noise node, or just dragging in a roughness like I did. And that's pretty much it. Thanks guys for watching. Hope you learned something with this Redshift node material tutorial, and I hope y'all subscribe for future videos if you're new, and if not, well then welcome back. So guys, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and peace out.